Picture this. Deep in a provincial forest in Canada, there is a semi-nomadic woman and her cat living in an off-grid cabin in the woods. She lives there from winter solstice to summer solstice. The other half of the year, she is on the move. 4 months in the summer, she travels down the coast of Scotland living on a boat, and for 2 glorious months of the year, she is on her motorcycle and no one really knows where she is. She's probably in Mongolia. She is me. Well, she's future me. The me I want to become over the next few years. But how? In this episode, I'm going to naively tell you my simple plan for achieving this semi-nomadic dream. Now is the perfect time to tell you because, while I have taken some concrete steps towards this goal, I am still relatively ignorant of just how much work this dream will be, how many tears it will demand of me, and how deeply I will doubt myself along the way. This is episode 1 of Go Girl. This is Go Girl, a podcast devoted to documenting the adventure era of my life, my Go Girl era. At 40 years old, I live happily solo with my Siamese cat, Queen Guinevere, and together we are setting out to live a semi-nomadic life. I spent most of my adulthood trying to settle down, but now I am ready to run, and I am not slowing down for folks to catch up. You can tie me up, but not down, because this life is meant to be a wild and precious adventure, and this girl is finally ready to go. Welcome to the very first episode of Go Girl. Folks, I have wanted to do a podcast for a long time, and this feels like the perfect opportunity. I'm setting out to totally change the way I live, and I want to tell the story as it happens. I don't actually know what to tell you to expect here, except that I plan to show up here week by week to give you an account of my current adventure status. I expect each episode will run about 30 minutes, but that is not a promise. But I thought for this first episode, I would introduce you to my plan. I'm going to tell you my plan as it stands now, but also this plan has changed. I expect it to keep changing. So really what I'm doing right now is catching you up on my current intentions as of June 2025. Right, let's dive right in. So I'm changing my life to become semi-nomadic. What I want is to live part of the year in my cabin in the woods, and then the other part of the year on a sailboat. Now, the grand vision is to do lots of adventure biking and maybe 2 months out of the year to be off camping and biking, but that last little bit will have to wait. This year, and for this first season, just one thing at a time, this year I will be getting a boat and also trying to find my sea legs. What a fun idea! I can hear you saying in the back of my mind, so you might have spent a lot of time sailing. That would be a normal question to ask. But the reality is that I don't have a background in sailing. In fact, I grew up in the antithesis of sailing places. I grew up in mountains and in the desert and in the jungle, and now I live in the prairies, and none of these are intuitively sailing places. So it's not been a part of my childhood history, and it has not been a part of my adulthood. In fact, I am one of those individuals with a very sensitive stomach, and I will get carsick on buses and in the backseat of cars, or even in small planes. Suffice it to say, I have been a little intimidated, actually, to try sailing. I've had images of me hurling over the side of a boat. Now, at the same time, I have never been one to let reality get in the way of my dreams. So I have decided, of course, that I would like to live on a boat. And if I'm going to live on a boat, I should probably learn to sail too. I asked around about the ability to get over seasickness, and I have to say the reviews are mixed. Now, some say it's no problem, others say it will always be there, and according to the internet, which is never wrong, you can only puke for so long, so I just have to make it 2 days, and then I'll get my sea legs. That's kind of the math I've done. So I thought it was worth a gamble. Step 1 in the great plan is learning to sail. or even just giving it a go, seeing if it's even a possibility. And I did that last summer. Within the province of Manitoba, there are 2 massive inland seas, and not to mention many, many lakes. Lake Winnipeg is, in fact, here's a fact for you, the 10th largest lake in the world. And the town of Gimli, which is located on the southwestern shore of this lake, hosts a yacht club, which is home to a national sailing school, and also has an instructor who teaches ocean cruising on this lake. So I may be in a prairie province, but within a 2-hour drive from me, I can learn everything I need to know to sail the ocean. To that end, last year, together with about half a dozen 8-year-olds, I spent a week on the lake and I received my Can Sail number 1 certificate. Yes, I was drugged on ginger the whole time. So, not only did I not puke for the whole week, but I also learned how to capsize and then how to right my vessel and pull my soggy, bedraggled ass back onto the craft. And it was not so bad. It was fine. Then last month, I took my basic cruising with Wolf, who runs the Prairie Ocean Cruising course up in Gimli. This is another Sail Canada course, and it covers everything you need to know to sail a small boat on the ocean. On the second day, I was challenged to go off anti-nausea medication, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I will tell you that in a different episode. Sticking to the topic, step 1, learn to sail, check. The next task on my how to become a semi-nomad list is to buy a boat. And folks, I am thrilled to say check to that as well. I am the proud owner of the Ana Lucia, a 1988 Itchen Ferry 25-foot sailing yacht. Now, I am told she floats, and her sails are good. My sister went and looked. It all seems to check out. Now, she will need a new engine, and the door to the cabin is missing. I'm told the water on the floor is probably just rainwater. It's fine, don't worry. She is covered in mud and mold and who knows what else. She is, in summary, a beautiful project boat. And I will tell you all about her in episode 4. And now a word from Her Royal Highness Queen Guinevere.
Mes sujets,
My
cette fille m'a
subjects.
informé que nous partons pour
This
une aventure
girl has informed me
grandiose.
that we are embarking on a grand adventure. I am curious to see what Two Legs has planned and if she has prepared my meal portions correctly. So, if I survive the shipwreck, I know I will be stronger and more capable as an empress to my subjects. You, my dear subjects. I'll see you next week. Farewell. And now, we return to the episode. That was Queen Guinevere, my cat. Or really, I should say, I am her human, La Fille. Her mother tongue is French, and we get along all right. She is a rescued Siamese cat, so she is very opinionated. I thought it was important to give her a voice, so you will hear the imperial trumpets when she has something to say. Obviously, she is an adventure kitty, and she is coming along with me on this whole adventure. So back to the plan. Now that I have sailing under my belt, and I'm a proud boat owner, my next move is to renovate the Ana Lucia, so she is a sailable, live-aboard vessel. Now, I have given myself 1 month for this task. I figure if I can renovate a 200-square-foot hunting shed into an arguably livable space in 1 month, I am certain that I can do this with a 25-foot boat. How hard could it be? I guess I'll find out. So you can tune in to this podcast in August for my emotional breakdown as I ask myself what I was thinking. Step 4 is quite simple. I just have to move into it and go sailing, which means that I will have navigated British and French customs with Her Royal Highness. Hopefully I will have found some kind of remote income to sustain my madness, and I'll need to learn how to renovate a boat, of course. Also, I'll need to get her onto a residential mooring. These all seem like details, but whatever. Oh, I should learn how to dock. That's important. I think I've done that like 3 times. It was fine. I just need more practice. It makes me nervous. However, I know it's just a matter of effort. Oh, and did I mention I'll be nannying my nephews on the summer? So I will be working on the boat for the weekends and in the evenings. I know myself to be a very capable human. However, at this moment, I have to say that I am feeling some anxiety as I think about everything that I need to do. And not only that, but all of the unknowns, let alone the unknown unknowns. Like, just for one example, I will be living in a port town, Faversham. Now, while this is considered a port town, it's actually located not directly on the sea, but instead it's within tidal marshes. And this means I will immediately need to be familiar not only with tide charts, but also with how to navigate currents, as they are both present and both of them are critically important to safely navigating out of the port into the sea. I should maybe also mention that the sea I am going to be docked and sailing in is actually the North Sea, considered one of the most dangerous waters to sail in due to its unpredictable weather, strong currents, and very cold temperatures. Also, sharks, small ones. They're mostly harmless. It's fine. What the fuck am I doing? Like, what? It's fine. Anyway, that's the plan. And that, dear listener, brings me to my closing section. So, along with being an artist and an aspiring semi-nomadic polymath, I also run Rebel Sister Tarot, which is a low-profile tarot reading service side gig. I have like this handwritten sign in my cabin window. The birds don't seem very interested yet. So I thought it would be fun to incorporate a card of the week section for a reflection on the week ahead. However, this being the first episode requires something special. So this week, I'm not drawing a card. Instead, I am placing a significator, which is tarot speak for choosing a card to represent myself in this particular moment. Now, if you are familiar with tarot, you may have already guessed my choice. The Fool. In this card, we meet the archetype of the Fool, beginning their journey. I'm reading from the Modern Witches Tarot by Lisa Sterrell. And she has this wonderful picture of this woman in this gorgeous floral dress. And like every archetype of the Fool is just about to walk off a cliff. And there's a little puppy dog at her heels. In this rendition of the card, she's listening to music. The sun is shining. The city is behind her. She is out on an adventure and just about to plummet. And it's just meant to really represent what it is to be in that naive, beautiful beginning of an adventure where you're like, yes, I'm so excited, here we go. And so all you really have to do is exchange the image for a cat instead of a dog, and that's me. I'm just about ready to launch myself off this cliff, and it'll be fine because I will build my wings on the way down, because that's always how I do it. So that is this week's card of the week. Next week, the topic is Faversham. Of all the places in the world that I could be mooring, I will be in the port of the town of Faversham. But where is it? Why is it a cool place? Is it a cool place? I am beyond excited to tell you why Kent in general is a singularly incredible place to inhabit, and what makes Faversham in particular fascinating. Just a content warning though, I will be diving into a bit of history, but don't worry, I never went to school, so I didn't actually learn that history was supposed to be boring, so I promise it will be fun. That's it for this week. You can find images, links, and a transcript for each episode and more on my website, alexandrarossworks.com/GoGirl. Information on the music for the podcast, the sound clips, and anything extra you can find in the description. And if you like what I'm doing and if you want to support me, you can click the link to Buy Me a Pint, which leads to my Patreon site. Thank you for listening. Happy adventuring. I'll see you next week. Test. Back to the plan. Now that I have sailing under my belt and I'm a proud boat owner, my next move is to renovate the Ana Lucia so she is a livable sailboard.